Okay, today we're going to solve addition and subtraction equations with models. So the first thing, to solve an equation, you must isolate the variable. You do this by inverse operations. So the big rule here is whatever you do to one side of the equation, you do the same on the other. So the first equation we have here is x plus 2 equals 6. Now, as you see here, we have a teeter-totter, and it's balanced right here. So the balance is going to be our equal sign. Okay? So our first thing that we have is x. I'm going to use a block to represent my x. Now, if you look over here, I have plus 2. Those are my two positives here. So my two positives are going to be 1, 2. On the other side, I have 6. That means I'm going to have 6 positives. Now, my goal, as you saw up here, is I need to isolate the variable. So instead of having two pluses, I need to have 2 minuses. And the rule is whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you're going to do the same thing over here. Now, if you remember, when you have a positive and negative, that's going to make 0 pairs. So we have a 0 pair here and a 0 pair here. Same thing over here. I have a 0 pair here and a 0 pair here. Now, we know that this is 0, and x plus 0 is x. There's nothing else over here, so this is gone now. That's going to equal, once again, this is 0, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 plus 0 is 4. This is gone. So we have x equals 4. Now, we can do the same thing here. So if you look here, my 0, it's going to be like a mirror. So instead of adding 2, I'm going to do the inverse of addition, which is minus 2. And whenever I do on one side of the mirror, I got to do the same thing on the other, so it's identical. Now, I know 2 minus 2 is 0, and x plus 0 is going to be x. So I'll make a big 0 there and get rid of that. So that's why x is by itself. And of course, I'm dropping the equal sign all the way down. And I know 6 minus 2 is 4. That's how we got x equals 4. Now, the next one, I have 4 equals 2 plus c. So once again, my equal is going to be in the middle. So here, I'm going to have 4 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here, I'm going to have 2 positives because it's plus 2. 1, 2. Along with a c, which I'm going to use that as my variable is always going to be my block. Now, once again, the goal is to isolate my variable c. So instead of having 2 pluses, the inverse of 2 pluses is 2 minuses. And once again, whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, I'm going to do the same on the other. So if you look here once again, this is a 0 pair, this is a 0 pair. So over here, I have a 0 pair and another 0 pair. So if we look here, c plus 0 is c equals, over here, I got 2 plus 0, which is 2. So our answer is C equals 2. Now, if you look over here, once again, my equal sign is going to be my mirror. So I'm just going to drop that down. Now, instead of writing 2 plus C, I'm going to use the commutative property and write C plus 2. Now, instead of adding 2, I'm going to subtract 2. And once again, whatever I do on one side of the mirror, I got to do it on the other. Now, once again, I know 2 minus 2 is going to be 0. And I'm left with C equals, and of course 4 minus 2 is 2. If we look at the next one, I have Y. So that's going to be my block. Now here I'm saying minus 5, which means I'm going to have 5 minuses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the other side, I have an equal sign. It's going to be the middle. And I have 3. And 3 is positive. 3 is positive. So 1, 2, 3. Now, I've got to get rid of my 5 minuses. So the opposite of a minus, the inverse of a minus is a plus. So I've got 5 pluses. And once again, the rule is whatever you do on one side of the equal side, we have to do on the other. So I'm going to add my 5 pluses over here also. So if we look here, I have a 0 pair, another 0 pair, 0 pair, 0 pair, and a 0 pair. And I know that y plus 0 is y. Have my equals. That's all isolated now. And then if you look over here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pluses. So y equals 8. If you look here, I'm going to draw my mirror right there. So I have y minus 5. So the inverse of minus 5 is plus 5. And whatever you do on one side of the mirror, we're going to do it on the other. So if you look here, I have minus 5, or if we look here, we could do negative 5 plus positive 5. That will equal 0. That's our inverse operation, right? And then what are we left with? Y plus 0 is y. And then 3 plus 5 equals 8. Y equals 8. The last one, we have 4 equals a minus 6. So here's our equal sign. Okay, I'm going to have 4 pluses. Now over here, I'm going to have my box that represents a. And then I'm going to have minus 6, which means I'm going to have 6 minuses. So, once again, I want a by itself. So, I want to get rid of these 6 minuses. So, the inverse of minus is a plus. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and once again, the rule is wherever you do on one side of the equal sign, we're going to do the other. So I'm going to add my 6 pluses over here. And if you see here, I have my 0 pairs here. Got all my zeros. So of course, a plus 0 is a equals. If you look here, I have no 0 pairs. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So a equals 10. Now, when you look here, here is we're going to drop our mirror, our equal sign. And then instead of minus 6, we're going to have plus 6. Whatever you do on one side, we do on the other. And once again, minus 6 plus 6 will equal 0. We're left with a. Drop the equal sign down, and 4 plus 6 is 10.